MacBook Trackpad not working. 4 troubleshooting tips to try. Is your MacBook Pro trackpad not working? We've covered 4 different troubleshooting methods. Let's start with the easiest to get your trackpad working again. This sounds obvious, but it's amazing how many people aren't running the latest version of the operating system, firmware, and drivers. To see if any updates are available for your trackpad, open the App Store and click on the Updates tab at the top of the window. Really, you should install any updates that are pending. But for the purposes of fixing your trackpad, you're interested in anything called Trackpad Firmware Update, or similar. If you come across something, click on the Update button and follow the on-screen instructions. Assuming there were no updates available, or they didn't solve your issue. The first port of call should always be your trackpad's settings. You can fix lots of complaints by simply tweaking a couple of options. If your trackpad seems fully functional with the exception of its ability to double-click, it is possible that the time delay for your system to recognize the gesture is set too low. If you're new to using trackpads, rather than a traditional mouse, or you aren't as fleet-fingered as some people, this is a likely cause. To access the double-click settings, click on the Apple icon in the top left corner of your screen. Then follow System Preferences greater than Accessibility and scroll down the left sidebar until you come to Mouse and Trackpad. You will see various options available, but the one you need to adjust is double-click speed. Turn it down from its current position, somewhere around the middle is adequate for most users. But feel free to go as low as necessary. Once again, click on the Apple icon, but this time head to System Preferences greater than Trackpad. You will see a slider at the bottom of the window titled Tracking Speed. As before, a setting somewhere around the middle should be suitable for most users. The way to test this is to check for a physical mouse connected to your system, either via USB or Bluetooth. If you do, try disconnecting it. Does your trackpad now work? In that case, your system has been set up to ignore trackpad input when it detects a mouse. As long as you're running OS by 10.7 Mountain Lion or later. You can change this setting by going to System Preferences greater than Accessibility greater than Mouse and Trackpad and unticking the checkbox next to Ignore built-in trackpad when mouse or wireless trackpad is present. It's also possible that your Mac thinks another peripheral accessory is a mouse. Trying disconnecting everything, keyboards, printers, gaming controllers, and so on, from all your machine's ports and see if it makes a difference. More often than not, trackpad issues that aren't due to settings are caused by various hardware problems. They can originate either from the Mac itself, or from user error. If your pointer is jumping around the screen, there could be a range of non-serious causes, many of them down to simple human error. First, check your battery level. If it's low, plug in your machine and try again. It really could be that simple. Next, make sure that jewelry such as wedding rings and bracelets are not catching the pad as you work. They could cause the pad to read multiple signals at once and get confused. Finally, make sure your fingertips aren't damp or sweaty. Trackpads and water don't mix well, and can cause erratic behavior. Sometimes your trackpad works correctly, sometimes it acts up. Something it lets you move the pointer, while other times it doesn't. If this is the case for you, more often than not, the problem is your MacBook's battery. You're almost certainly going to have to troubleshoot your MacBook power supply at some point. Here's how to do it. Swelling and exploding MacBook batteries have been an issue for years. Apple claims it's expected behavior, which is highly dubious, but either way, its occurrence can impact your trackpad. Your first move should be contacting Apple support. If your device is still under warranty or covered by AppleCare. If not, and you think you have the swollen battery issue, try taking the battery out and running your machine from main power. You can also pay someone to do this for you. You will almost certainly see a significant improvement. If all else has failed, the last trick you can try before conceding defeat is deleting the property list (plist) files. macOS uses the plist files to store a user's settings and information about bundles and applications installed on a machine. Deleting them will force your Mac to recreate new ones. Time Machine is your Mac's built-in utility for backing up your computer. We'll show you how to set up Time Machine, make backups, and more. To delete the files linked to your mouse and trackpad, open Finder, then click Go to Folder. Next, type Library, Preferences, and hit Go. Reboot your Mac, and see if this cured the problem. As a last resort, you can erase and restore your Mac to factory settings. If none of the above worked, you probably need to take your machine in for repair. There are lots of repair options available, but the exact route you should take depends on whether or not you have AppleCare. The most obvious temporary solution is to disable your trackpad altogether and use a standard mouse. The process is simply the reverse of the previously mentioned troubleshooting tip. Just head to System Preferences Accessibility Mouse and Trackpad and tick the box next to Ignore built-in trackpad when mouse or wireless trackpad is present. The Apple Magic Trackpad 2 performs exactly the same way as your computer's trackpad, except it's an external peripheral that sits in your desk. It's perfect if you're used to using the trackpad or if you're not a fan of Apple's Magic Mouse. And it's completely wireless too. Unfortunately, the external trackpad not cheap, but it's your only option for a Mac-friendly external touchpad, and it's better than the Magic Mouse. Here are several reasons why the Magic Trackpad is better than the Magic Mouse and why you should consider getting one. Tech support, 2 words that strike fear into the hearts of all but the most competent computer users out there. Where do you begin to look when things start to go wrong? In great detail before, you can either use the Genius Bar in an Apple store, take it to an authorized service provider, or use a non-Apple affiliated independent shop. Apple is known for having great customer service and repair technicians. But if you're no longer under warranty, that expertise doesn't come cheap. Why not try troubleshooting your own Mac first next time? Warning, do not try this unless you're very confident in your skills. Doing so will void your warranty. If your machine is still under warranty, you should let Apple do the work. What issues have you stumbled across with your MacBook's trackpad? Did you find any of these simple solutions helped solve your problems? Or was it something more serious? We've written lots of other troubleshooting guides as well. For example, if you have a problem with your MacBook keyboard not working, here's how to remove dust from your keyboard and other settings to check that can fix your issue. Text source, makeuseof.com.